In the NFL, lots of upsets. The Vikings over the 49ers. And a lot of failed and blown calls too, which are really the topic of discussion this week. Derek, a lot of people talking about the Hail Mary fail call by the refs on Monday night with Seahawks and the Pats, but you noticed the refs in a lot of other games too. What were those?
Well, the main one, obviously, yes, the Packers and the Seahawks. Obviously, at the end of that game, there was about 3 or 4 plays even before then, obviously, that should have been called besides the offensive pass interference against Tate to win the game. But I said, watching the game Sunday night between the Patriots and the Ravens, that was, as a game overall, that was probably the worst officiated call. 13 penalties that went for cost with the first downs. Obviously, the field goal. I said that field goal at the end of the game, I think it's still kind of debatable about if it went over the uprights or not. But like I said, there were so many calls. The main call I remember was Chandler Jones getting that sack in the fourth quarter, 4 minutes left. And then the Patriots getting called for holding was actually a Ravens player that was actually holding Cunningham. Cunningham got made for the call, but there were so many in that game. That game just, and it was a great game too. That was one of the better. That's obvious right now. I'll put that as the top game this week of the year right now, just going into the early season. But there's just so many bad calls in that game. And then there's just all around. Obviously, like I said, the Packers and Seahawks, you can go down and down the line, but like I said, things got to get fixed. The NFL should be embarrassed. Like I said, Aaron Rodgers going on radio yesterday in Green Bay, basically apologizing to the fans about how Roger Goodell and the league is basically treating the fans right now with this. And frankly, I got to agree with Rodgers 100%. Usually he's pretty quiet and stuff like that, unless it's about Brett Favre, then he's not afraid to voice his opinion then.
Yeah, he'll share his 2 cents when it comes to that. But yeah, that's what it comes down to at the end of the day, is that it's really affecting the results of the games and the product, the on-field product.
Yeah.
And many fans are getting upset about that one. You spoke about the Pats. You had them last week, and you're continuing that trend. You're going with the Pats again this week. Tell us why.
I said 2 numbers jump out to me right now. I said Brady 18-2 career lifetime against the Buffalo Bills, and also Brady and Belichick together have never lost 3 straight games. I said the defense right now, yes, they had some problems against Buffalo, but going against Ray Rice, I said, and obviously the great game that Torrey Smith played, after, finding out hours before his brother died. Well, I said, so the offenses looked pretty good. The old line looked a lot better. Baltimore wasn't really getting a lot of pressure on them. But I said, Buffalo, they still have some questions. Like I said, yes, they beat the Cleveland Browns last week, but again, the Cleveland Browns are the Cleveland Browns. I said, who's going to be running the ball this week? CJ Spiller, he has a shoulder injury. He's probably not playing. Fred Jackson could come back with his leg injury, but it's highly doubtful, so Deshaun Choice will probably run the ball. But also with the Patriots putting up a lot of points, Ryan Fitzpatrick's got to throw the ball a lot more. Right now, he's been very limited in his throw, so obviously he's not throwing the ball too much, but if he throws it a lot more, I said, New England can create their turnovers. Obviously, they have in the last couple of years, so right now, I said, I have New England. I said, they're only -4. I look for them to make this game as a statement. Obviously, everyone's kind of down and out on them right now because they're under 500, but I said, Brady and Belichick, these are 2 guys who do not want to have to go 1-3. So I said this game should be a statement. Patriots -4, easy.
So Derek likes the Pats to bounce back this week and pick up a big win against the Bills. Fitzpatrick looked good against the Browns, but not good enough to please Derek.
Well, just not good enough against the Patriots. The Patriots and the Browns are 2 totally different teams.
He also likes the 49ers to bounce back from an embarrassing loss last week against the Vikings and make a statement against the Jets.
Last week, I just think San Francisco got caught off guard a little bit. I said, the only thing that really went wrong last week was Frank Gore had a little trouble running against the football, but guys against Jared Allen, that's going to be a little bit expected. Alex Smith, he's been getting chances to throw the football more this year. He's been taking advantage. His rating this year is over 100, which for Alex Smith is really good. Like I said, but also with Frank Gore, you're going against a team that is 28th ranked against the run. But also the other big thing with the Jets is that Darrelle Revis has been announced that he has tore his ACL. He's out for the year. But one number that Michael Lombardi from the NFL Network brought up is that teams, when Revis is in the lineup, complete 57% of their passes. When Darrelle Revis is not in the lineup, teams are completing 74% of their passes. So obviously now Alex Smith has all those weapons of Randy Moss, Mario Manningham, Vernon Davis, so on and so on. And the Jets, obviously with their best player, they're screwed. I said on offense, you're going against San Francisco. Sean Green's having trouble running the ball. I said, so forget about that. And DeMar Sanchez, sure, his yards are completing, but also his averages are going down. His completion averages are going down. So Sanchez is not looking that good. And I said, we could see Tim Tebow maybe coming in a lot more sooner. Obviously, I don't know, but obviously Sanchez is doing enough right now to keep his job. But eventually, that thing is going to come in. So right now, San Francisco -4. I see this number going up, obviously, without Revis in the lineup. So right now, San Francisco -4, because again, I can't see it staying there by the time Sunday rolls around.
That's Derek's first 2 picks. Next up, he's got the Cincinnati Bengals, -2 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Maurice Jones-Drew ran for 171 yards last week, but Derek, you think the Bengals will be able to contain him?
Like I said, Maurice Jones-Drew did have a big day against the Indianapolis Colts, but the thing is right now, for the most part, that's all really Jacksonville has. So I said, before the season, I figured this team wasn't going to win 2 games if Jones-Drew sit out. I said at best, I think they're a 4-12, 5-11 team, so he'll get his touches, he'll do good. But Blaine Gabbert, I said, he's doing a little better, but I said, you have to make a big play at the last minute of the game to Cecil Shorts, which was funny because he also had that same play earlier on against Minnesota. But obviously with Jacksonville, their defense has not been as good this year. They're last in the league in sacks, 28 overall in yards giving up. So basically, Maurice Jones-Drew is going to need to have a big day if they want to take a chance. But Cincinnati, the last 2 weeks, they've looked very well. Dalton's been able to capitalize on inferior teams. Obviously, Washington last week, they've had some injuries with Brian Arakpo. And then obviously going in against the Cleveland Browns. So, and then like I said, AJ Green had one of his career games last week, getting over 170 yards receiving. Like I said, they're giving up a lot of yards on the ground and in the air, but right now they're also pressuring the quarterback, 4th in the league in sacks. So Blaine Gabbert, he likes to hold on to the football too long. So I can see a lot of pressure, him getting sacked a lot. So right now, Cincinnati, like I said, they got a very easy schedule for the first half of the season, where I probably see them going 5-2. They'll probably lose to Pittsburgh coming up later this week. So right now, I'm just going to keep going on the Bengals train. So -2 right now. I kind of see maybe this number maybe going up, maybe -3. But right now, I'm going to take it where it's at. I said, the better the chance. I said, Jacksonville still could come back. Again, it really all depends on Maurice Jones-Drew and if Blaine Gabbert can actually complete passes to the receivers.
Rounding out this week's picks, Derek's going with another road team and a team he hopes can bounce back from a loss last week. Derek's got the Chargers +1 over the Chiefs. Why is that, Derek?
I said last week the San Diego Chargers had a little bit of a rough game, but right now, I said Atlanta's looking really good. They're kind of basically looking like the class of the NFC, them and the 49ers. So, like I said, San Diego, they had a little trouble against Atlanta. Atlanta's a very potent offense, but the other 2 games, they've looked very well on defense. They've been able to stop the run. The pass could still be a little better, but like I said, with Matt Castle, he holds on to the ball too long, and a lot of his points come from garbage points. So basically, Phillip Rivers has got to look at this game, but the thing is, Kansas City's defense, their secondary's played pretty well despite the departure of Brandon Carr off the Dallas, but Kansas City is still having problems running the ball, which is actually something that San Diego was able to do a lot good last week with the return of Ryan Matthews and Jacob Battle, who was able to rush for a couple of big gains there in that game as well. So they were able to pick up over 100 yards. So I'm expecting the Chargers to do that this week. Like I said, Kansas City, they had that big game against New Orleans. Jamal Charles had basically almost 300 yards in that game for all purpose. But again, the Saints defense right now, they're atrocious, worst in the league. So I said, if Kansas City really wants to do anything, Jamal Charles has got to play up to that standard. Obviously, he's not going to get 300 yards, but if you get over 100 yards rushing, maybe about 40 yards receiving, Kansas City can take this game away. I'm kind of a little worried about this game. It's basically a pick-em, but I think Rivers could probably do enough and get that running game going that the Chiefs will not be able to handle it. But again, Arrowhead is one of those stadiums that you can never tell. They always have a very good home fan base, but I think San Diego's experience against the division opponent will give them just enough just to get that edge.
So there you have Derek's pick for this week. He likes the Pats, the 49ers, San Diego, and Cincy. He's coming off a 3-1 record last week, so this is the time to really start paying attention to the Sunday Payout on Twitter. Follow our website, and hopefully Derek will win you a lot of money, or if not, he'll be chased out of town with pitchforks.